He shared the stage with the brightest star of cinematography of those times, Charlie Chaplin. He was friends with Marie Curie and Niels Bohr. He mastered playing violin, and for him it was as important as thinking about science. Apart from being an extraordinary scientist, he was an active member of a civil society, a trusted friend, a beloved brother, and a human who took responsibility for his life in his own hands. We mainly know him as a joyous professor who changed understanding of physics, but what were the obstacles he was going through while changing the world? After the birth, he was believed to have a malformation in the back of his head because of its form. The abnormalities were never confirmed, but until the age of 9, the boy experienced difficulties with speaking. His speech was slow, quiet, and built in simple sentences or even phrases. At the age of 16, he tried to enter the Federal Polytechnic School in Zurich, Switzerland. Neither the city nor the country were native to him. He performed with distinction in physics and mathematics, but did not reach the required standard in the general part of the exam, which included tests in history and geography. To catch up with the general knowledge, he entered a gymnasium in Aarau, the Swiss town which is approximately 20 times smaller than Zurich, and spent there a year taking private lessons. Next year, he became a student at the chosen university, following mathematics and physics teaching diploma program. He was born as a German citizen, but at the age of 16 he first emigrated to Switzerland for higher education. In a year, he decided to renounce his citizenship of the Kingdom of Württemberg in order to avoid conscription into military service. His father approved the decision, so after finishing studies when he proceeded as stateless, he applied for a Swiss citizenship. In 10 years, aged 32, he was promoted to a full professorship at the University of Prague or Charles University, and that required him to obtain an Austrian citizenship in the Austro-Hungarian Empire. In several years, he would return to Germany and obtain local citizenship again. At his 54, though a German citizen, he suddenly would become an asylum seeker. He was denied a temporary shelter in the UK and became a refugee in the United States of America. He first became a parent when he was 22, but he probably never saw his daughter. The exact fate of the girl is uncertain, while it's likely that during her first year of life she got scarlatina and that appeared fatal. In a year after that, his first son was born, and 6 years later the second boy appeared. However, when the children were 15 and 9 years old, their parents separated, and the mother moved with them from Berlin to Zurich. When the younger was 21, he was diagnosed with schizophrenia, and the mother was taking care about him until her own death. The father kept their correspondence ongoing no matter which country he was residing in. His own father wasn't very young when Albert was born, but his lifetime appeared rather limited. In 1902, aged 55, Albert was 23 at the moment. He died of a heart failure. His mother fell ill with cancer during the First World War. When seeing her in the year 1919, 17 years after the father's death, the son decided to bring her from Switzerland to his home in Berlin, where she passed away the same year. Similarly, he is an elder brother who was taking care about his only sibling Maria, or Maya as they called her, when she became bedridden after a stroke. The Nobel Committee for Physics decided that none of the year's nominations met the criteria as outlined in the will of Alfred Nobel. So the prize was reserved until the following year. and he therefore was supposed to receive it 1 year later, in 1922. That given, he decided not to interrupt his tour along the Eastern Hemisphere, so a German diplomat went to the ceremony in Stockholm instead of him. He was born 9 years after the Franco-Prussian War, and was escaping military service as long as he could. Nevertheless, he witnessed persecution, book burnings, and 2 world wars. All these would one day result in a personal and national disaster. The works he had written and the books he had published as a prominent scientist appeared burned because of the author's nationality. He is a Jew. A great number of Jewish scientists, including this man, were suddenly dismissed from their academic positions. It's at this moment he moved to the USA as a refugee. He knew he was safe there, but felt nearly ashamed to be living in peace because of what was going on in Europe, and especially in Germany of the 1930s. The First World War started when he was 35, and when he was 60 years old, the World War II broke out. Already during his life, people started considering him the father of the release of atomic energy, while he himself denied the status and stressed it by all means that his role was indirect. His only act was to urge the US to study and elaborate on atomic weapon, and the reason for that was that he already knew about the ongoing Nazi atomic bomb research. The danger that the Germans would make and use the bombs made him agree to sign the well-known letter to President Roosevelt. He later called it one great mistake he made in his life. The Germans didn't succeed, and he had gone against his pacifist principles. Had he known, or had he better counted the outcomes, he would likely did nothing about it. A German magazine once included him in a list of enemies of the German regime with the phrase "not yet hanged," and offering a $5,000 bounty on his head. He escaped to the USA as a known person already. Hence, he decided to use his fame in order to argue publicly against racism and nationalism. His activism was seen deeply suspicious, though, so a secret dossier on him was started by the Federal Bureau of Investigation in December 1932. By the time of the professor's death, 23 years later, the FBI file would be 1,427 pages long. Both Albert's parents were Jewish, so living in the same epoch when Nazi got power, he experienced many things a common person of Jewish origin did. He suddenly appeared non-eligible for the academic work at the university where he was employed. His works were destroyed, his cottage was raided, and his personal sailboat was confiscated. He did not have permanent home anymore. After all this, though, about 20 years later, he was a direct candidate to become Israel's second president, as he was considered the best living Jew. He rejected on the age grounds, he was 73 at the moment, but in 3 years he was preparing for a television appearance commemorating the State of Israel's 7th anniversary. Regrettably, he appeared in hospital during this period and did not live to complete the speech to his real motherland. Albert Einstein bequeathed his scientific and personal archives, library, and intellectual assets to the Hebrew University of Jerusalem in Israel, where he also was one of the founders.